Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Hello and welcome back in thermodynamics tutorial. This is session 3 and we have looked at that we are going to follow thermodynamics and engineering approach by Cengel and Bowles. That's what we follow in IIT Kanpur for undergraduate thermodynamics teaching. Okay, so in last 2 tutorials we have covered first 2 chapters from this book. First one was introduction and basic concepts, and the second one was energy transfer and general energy analysis. So please follow my cursor so that I can point to my cursor and you can follow the same. Okay, and the third chapter that we are going to take today is about the properties of pure substances. So as you have learned the chapter, you have seen that how pure substances play an important role in case of thermodynamic analysis, and mainly we will talk about water, few gases, and the refrigerant which is mainly we will talk about R134a. Okay, so today we will take few problems from this third chapter, which is properties of pure substances, and try to solve them step by step. And the major takeaway message from this tutorial will be how to look up numbers from the table, how to get physical intuition of the systems whenever we talk about any phase change in case of a pure substance. Okay, so that's the goal of today's tutorial. And now for getting the properties, what we are going to use is this property tables and charts. So whatever textbook you are using for thermodynamics, at the end of it you will find tables and charts. Okay, and this one I am showing, this is which is available with the book that we are following, which is Cengel and Bowles book. Okay, so here you can see that there are lots of tables. All these tables are numbered, and what particular table contains, it's written here. For example, table A4, it's a saturated water table and it's a temperature table. Temperature wise the tabulation is done. Okay, and another example you can take table A11, which is saturated refrigerant 134a, and that is again a temperature table. So from all these tables we can find numbers which are useful for our analysis. Okay, and we'll see that these tables are very important for quickly finding out numbers, and these tables are obtained, or I can say they have been obtained through very accurate and thorough experimentations for decades. Okay, and then only we have got these tables. These tables are also available in software form. Wherever a particular value you require, you provide the corresponding other values, and the table can, or the software can spit out the number that you are looking for. Okay, however, using those softwares does not give you the feel of using these tables. So I would insist that even if you have a software readily available, please for your undergraduate learning, please follow how to look up these tables, because otherwise you will not get the physical sense of what is happening. And hopefully this tutorial will tell you how to look up numbers from the tables and how to use them. Okay, so with this introduction, let's look at the first problem. So this is a very simple problem we have taken. You have to complete this table as you see here. Let me zoom it a little bit. Yeah, so as you see here, you have to complete the table for refrigerant 134A, where you have 4 columns: one temperature, pressure, specific volume, and then the 4th column is what phase it is. And you can see for any row there are 2 properties given. For example, for the first row, the temperature and pressure are given. You have to find out what is the specific volume and what would be the phase for that particular temperature and pressure. And for the third column, third row, you can see that the pressure is given and the phase is given. It's saturated vapor phase. Now you have to find out what would be the specific volume here and what would be the corresponding temperature. So let us go through the tables and all and try to find the corresponding values so that we can learn this hands-on. Okay, so please follow the cursor carefully so that you can see which part of the table I am focusing on. Okay, so first thing first, this is the first row which says that the refrigerant is at -4 degrees centigrade and the pressure is 320 kilopascal. Okay, we have to find out what is the specific volume and the phase. So first we have to find out R134A table. Okay, so let's take that. So this table A11, okay, what table is that? It is the table for saturated R134A and it's a temperature table. Temperature table, why do you say? Because if you look at the first column, it is the temperature column. That's why we call it temperature table. And if you see the first column is pressure, we call it pressure table. Okay, so here what is given? It's given that -4 degrees centigrade. So let's see what is the values corresponding to -4 degrees centigrade. So here you see that -4 degrees centigrade appears here. Okay, and the corresponding saturated pressure is 252.85 kilopascal. So the second column is pressure and this is the saturated pressure. Okay, but it is given that the pressure for that particular phase is higher than 252. Okay, so that means you can see that at this particular temperature the saturated R134A is obtained at pressure 252. If you increase the pressure, what will happen? It will go to the compressed liquid zone, right? If you increase the pressure, it cannot go to the two-phase region or the vapor region. It has to go to the compressed liquid region. So you can directly say the phase will be compressed liquid. Okay, and what we say that the compressed liquid, we assume that the pressure does not change the volume or specific volume. That means the compressible assumption, compressible liquid assumption tells us that whatever be the volume for saturated vapor, which is, you can see this saturated liquid specific volume is 0.0007646 meter cube per kg, that you can see corresponding to -4 degrees centigrade. Okay, so the same volume, same specific volume will continue even if you increase the pressure. Okay, so if we go back to the original table. So here -4 degrees centigrade is the temperature, and pressure for saturation is 252. As this is higher temperature, the phase will be compressed liquid, okay, and the volume will be the same as the saturated liquid, that is 0.0007646. So we can see that the corresponding values will be, we have written for the first row, this is compressed liquid and this is the specific volume that we read from the table. Okay, so next one is given that 10 degrees centigrade and the specific volume is given, this is 0.0065. Okay, so now we have to go back to the table. If we look at the 10 degrees centigrade, where is that? Yeah, so let me zoom this. 10 degrees centigrade is here, okay, and the pressure given is point, I have to see that, what's the pressure given? Yeah, okay, specific volume is given to be 0.0065, pressure is not given. Okay, so 10 degrees centigrade and 0.0065. So here at 10 degrees centigrade, we see that this is the volume column. So we see that the specific volume is given to be 0.0065. You can see that this value is for the saturated liquid and this value is for the saturated vapor, and 0.0065 lies in between these two. So what we can say, that the pressure will be the saturated pressure and the state will be two-phase region, two-phase mixture, right? Because the specific volume is in between these two values. One is for liquid, one is for vapor. So the pressure will be, so the pressure will be that of the saturated saturation pressure, that's 414.89 kPa, and this will be a saturated mixture or a two-phase mixture of liquid and vapor. Okay, now the third row. Third row, what is given? 850 kPa is the pressure, and it is also given the phase is saturated vapor. Okay, so we can go directly to the saturated vapor table and we can look at the pressure table, where the tabulation is done with respect to the pressure, and pressure is given 850 kPa. So let's go. Okay, yeah, so this is the pressure table. We can zoom and we can see here that it is saturated pressure table. Okay, yeah, so now we have to find the values corresponding to 850 kPa. So you see the first column is pressure and this is 850 kPa. So the temperature will be 33.45, that's the saturation temperature, and the specific volume will be that of the saturation vapor, because that is given. So specific volume is 0.024069, that would be the saturation vapor volume, and the temperature will be 33.45. okay, so if we go back, look at the, so this is the temperature value we have looked at, and this is the specific volume we have looked at and put here in the table. Okay, so now, okay, now let's look at the fourth row, where the temperature is given to be 90 degrees centigrade and pressure is 600 kPa. Okay, So first thing, let's look at the temperature table. Okay, where let's look what value we get corresponding to 90 degrees centigrade. So here for the temperature table, we see at the end of this page we have 18 degrees centigrade only. So you have to go to the next page, which the temperature table is getting continued. And if we look at the first column, 90 degrees centigrade is here. And you see the pressure is 3246.9 kPa. So it is way higher compared to what is given, 600 kPa. So we can expect that it will not be saturated vapor or two-phase mixture, it will be superheated or in the vapor region. Okay, superheated vapor region. And if we look at the pressure table also, the value corresponding to 600 kPa. Okay, this is the pressure table. So you see this is the R134A pressure table. Okay, and the first column is pressure. So look at what value we get corresponding to 600 kPa. 600 kPa gives the saturation temperature is 21.55 degrees centigrade. So again, this is way lower of the temperature given, which is 90 degrees centigrade. That means these saturated vapor tables will not give us any information. We have to go to the superheated vapor table. Okay, so superheated vapor table 600 kPa. Let's see what value we get. Yeah, 600 kPa means 0.6 MPa, right? So if you look at here, this is superheated R134A table. Okay, superheated, and the pressure is 0.6 MPa. That means 600 kPa. Here you see the saturation temperature is 21.55, which we just saw from the saturation table. Now for this particular table, look up the value corresponding to 90 degrees centigrade. This is 90 degrees centigrade. Okay, you see this is temperature in degrees centigrade, this is 90. So you go along this row, this is the value that you are looking for the specific volume. This is 0.046318 meter cube per kg. Okay, and the state is of course superheated refrigerant. Okay, so you look up these values and you place it into this table. You see here we have put the value of specific volume, which is 0.04632 meter cube per kg, and the phase is superheated vapor. So that is how we solve the first problem, where few properties were given and the rest we have found out from different tables corresponding to refrigerant R134A. Okay, let's look at the next problem. Okay, where it is asked that water initially at 200 kPa and 300 degrees centigrade is contained. Let me zoom this little bit so that you can see. So water initially at 200 kPa. So this is a piston cylinder arrangement where initially it is 200 kPa, 300 degrees centigrade water is contained. Okay, and this piston cylinder arrangement is fitted with stops. That means if pressure is such that the piston comes down, but it cannot come down below these stops. Okay, here it comes and stays at the same position. Now the water is allowed to cool at constant pressure until it exists as a saturated vapor, and the piston rests on the stops. So water is cooled down, so pressure inside comes down, the piston comes down, and it rests on the stops, and the water is further cooled down until the pressure is 100 kPa. Okay, now what you need to do, on the TV diagram, temperature specific volume diagram, sketch the process curves passing through the initial, intermediate and final states of water. Okay, 3 states we have figured out, and you have to label the volume values and everything. So basically you have to sketch the process. For that, you need to find out the values from the table. And it is also asked, find the overall change in internal energy between the initial and final states per unit mass of water. Okay, fine. So first thing first, let's see what is the state 1. State 1, 200 kPa, 300 degrees centigrade. Let's look at where we find this state. Okay, 200 kPa, 300 degrees centigrade. So if we look at the saturated water table, so you see table A4, this is saturated water table and temperature table. So you see what is the 300 degree centigrade value. So you go to the next page, here you find this is the 300 degree centigrade value, and the saturated pressure is way above. We have 200 kPa. So this will not tell us anything. We have to go to the superheated vapor table. Okay. So saturation table will not tell us anything. Let us go to the superheated vapor table, and we have to look at the 200 kPa. That means 0.2 MPa. So this is the table that will serve our purpose. 200 kPa and 300 degrees centigrade. Okay, this is the first column, is temperature column. So here all the values we will get. So here we see what is the third column, that is corresponding to internal energy. Okay, and the second column is volume, specific volume. So specific volume we get is 1.31623 meter cube per kg, and internal energy that we also require, because we have to find what is the difference in internal energy for the whole process. So internal energy is 2808.8 kilojoule per kg. Okay, so these we look up and go back to the problem. Okay, so here what we see is that saturated steam table did not work for us. It did not give the corresponding value. So we had to go to the superheated steam table, and we have looked up the value of internal energy, which is 2808.8 kilojoule per kg, and the specific volume also we have looked at, but we'll use it later. Now you see that the 1 to 2 is constant pressure process, because piston has a constant weight, so it comes down. I mean, it exerts exactly the same pressure. So the up to the stops, the process happens at constant pressure. Piston comes down, steam gets cooled, and saturated vapor you reach. So when it reaches the stops, at this point it reaches the saturated vapor state. Okay, so this is the scenario that's happening. Okay, so state 2 is nothing but saturated vapor, and it's constant pressure. So P2 will be equal to P1, and that is 200 kPa. Now what we know, that we have saturated water table we have to look up, and we know the pressure, that's 200 kPa. So if we look up what is the temperature and other values, okay, so let's look up that. 200 kPa. So this is the saturated pressure table, and it is 200 kPa. So this is 200 kPa value. The temperature is 120.21 degrees centigrade. Okay, fine. So here we have 121.21 degrees centigrade. Now as the piston has reached the stops, it cannot move down any further. Volume remains constant. So initial portion 1 to 2 is pressure constant, Now 2 to 3 will be volume constant process, and mass is also kept same. There is no leak where mass can be lost, so the specific volume remains the same for the pressure for the process 2 3. Okay, so now from the table itself we can see that V2 will be the vapor specific volume, which is at 200 kPa. Let's look up what is the value. Okay, so at 200 kPa the volume is the temperature is 120.21, and the specific volume for vapor, because that's the state given, that is 0.88578 meter cube per kg. Okay, this is, you see, this is vapor, saturated vapor specific volume. Okay, so this value you pick up and write it in place of V2, 0.88578 meter cube per kg. Now the state 3, the pressure, now it's constant volume, so pressure can drop. The final pressure is given to be 100 kPa. Okay, P3 is 100 kPa, and as the specific volume stays the same, so V3 will be equal to V2, and that is same as 0.88578 meter cube per kg. Okay, now you go to the saturated water table where you know the pressure and the specific volume. Okay, so now if you go to P3, I mean if you go to the saturation pressure table corresponding to 100 kPa, so this is saturated water table, pressure table, 100 kPa, we have the specific volumes for liquid is 0.11 and for vapor is 1.69 meter cube per kg. So you see that the V3, the specific volume at state 3 that you obtained, is lying in between these two values, right? It's 0.88, so it is lying between the fluid volume and the vapor volume, gas volume. So basically you can see from here itself then the state 3 will be a mixture of liquid and vapor. Okay, so now those values we have seen. Okay, so Vf, which is the fluid specific volume, and Vg is the gas specific volume. These two values we have picked up, and we see that V3 is lying between Vf and Vg corresponding to this 100 kPa. Okay, so it is a two-phase mixture. So we can find the dryness fraction or the vapor quality. Okay, how much there is vapor in that two-phase mixture. Okay, and that dryness fraction is computed as, I mean it's designated as X, and it is computed by finding the Vg minus V3 divided by Vg minus Vf. So if you substitute all these values from here, you will get the dryness fraction will be 0.47743. That means about 47% of the two-phase mixture is vapor. Okay, so from this information we can find what is the final internal energy. Okay, so now you go back, so basically the U3 or internal energy per unit mass for state 3 will be UF, which is the fluid internal energy, plus 1 minus X of UFG. Okay, this is the dryness fraction we just found. Now this UF and UFG we can find from the table. So let's go back. For the same column that we have looked at, let's look at what is the value of UF and UFG. Okay, this is the same table we just looked at, saturated water pressure table. So 100 kPa value, 100 kPa, this is the row we have to see, and we have to find the UF, which is, you can see this is 417.4 kilojoule per kg. Okay, this is UF, saturated liquid, this is 417.4, and UFG is 2088.2. Okay, you can see this is UFG corresponding to 100 kPa, 417 and 2088.2. So basically these values we pick up and go back to our calculation. You see we have put the values 417.4 and 2088.2, and this dryness fraction we just found out from the specific volume consideration. So if you do this algebra, you will find 1508.63 kilojoule per kg. Okay, so now you know what is U3, you know what is U1, so you just straightforward way you subtract and find out what is the change in internal energy by this cooling process. Okay, now physically you look at this diagram closely. This is the intuition you have to develop how the things are looking on a particular diagram. So this is temperature specific volume diagram, and this dome that you see, we call it saturation dome. Okay, here the first state, I mean the initial state was 200 kPa and 300 degrees centigrade. We have seen that it is in the superheated vapor region. That's why we have drawn this point 1 in the superheated vapor region. Okay, beyond this saturation dome. Now 1 to 2 is a constant pressure process because the piston comes down until it hits the stops. Okay, so 1 to 2 it's following a constant pressure line. Here you see this is the constant pressure line corresponding to 200 kPa. So it is following 2 up to 2 where it hits the saturation dome. So that's the saturated vapor state, point 2, that's given. So we have found out this particular path, and after that when the piston hits the stops, it follows a constant specific volume process. So here you see that this is perpendicular to the V axis. Okay, constant specific volume means it has to be perpendicular to the specific volume axis. So here it reaches the two-phase region. Okay, but how much where it lies, that is given by the pressure line. So again this is the constant pressure line corresponding to 100 kPa. When it hits this 100 kPa line, that's the point 3. Now we have to find what is the dryness fraction. That means how much here is vapor and how much is liquid. Okay, and from there we can find the internal energy of this state 3, and then by subtracting U1 minus U3, you can get what is the change in internal energy by this cooling process. Okay, so this gives us a phase change problem and how to find the corresponding values from the table that we have looked at. Okay, so let us go to the next problem. Okay, here again it's a water table. It's the material is water here. A rigid tank contains, let me zoom this a little bit. Yes, so a rigid tank contains water vapor at 250 degrees centigrade and an unknown pressure. At an unknown pressure is not known, you have to find out. When the tank is cooled to 124 degrees centigrade, okay, so initially it was 250, then it's cooled to 124 degree, the vapor starts to condense. Whenever it reaches 124 degree, vapor starts to condense. What does it mean? It means that it is the saturated vapor state. If you go 1 degree or a slight temperature below that, there will be a substantial amount of fluid forming as a condensate. Okay, so vapor starts to condense. So estimate the initial pressure in the tank. Okay, So that you have to find. So what you require is what is the nature of this process. First thing you have to find out what is the nature, what is happening here physically. Then you have to connect the physical phenomena to water table. Then only you can find the values on the table. So this is a rigid tank, constant vapor process, because constant volume process. Rigid tank volume cannot change, so it has to follow a constant volume process. And mass is also the same, because there is no hole from where mass can come in or out. So this is a constant specific volume process. Volume constant, mass constant, the specific volume has to be constant. Now it is given that state 2 is well defined, right? It is temperature 124 degrees centigrade, and it starts condensing. That means the state is saturated vapor. But state 1 is at higher temperature, right? It's 250 degrees centigrade. So the change happens through constant specific volume process. So now if you look at this diagram, let's zoom this little bit. So if you again, just like the last problem, if you look at the temperature and specific volume diagram, and this is the saturation dome that we are talking about. So this state 2 is given that it is on the saturation vapor line, and the temperature is also given to be 124 degrees centigrade. State 2 is well defined. And if state 1 is at higher temperature and the process is constant specific volume, it has to be somewhere here, right? And this state 1 has to be in the superheated vapor region. There is no other way it can come down for a higher temperature, from a higher temperature, with a constant specific volume process. Okay, so state 1, we know the temperature 250 degrees centigrade, and we know that the state is superheated vapor, right? So that is how we can now figure out what is the pressure for that particular state. So let's go to the superheated vapor table. This is the saturated water table. So this will not give us anything, because it has to be superheated vapor table. Okay, so but still let me see what is the value corresponding to 250 degrees centigrade. So here at the end of this page it is 200 degree. So you have to go to the next page, and here if you look at, this is the temperature column. 250 degrees centigrade is here. Here you see that the specific volume. Okay, first thing we have to find out what is the specific volume for state 1, right? So state 1 is 124 degrees centigrade, right? So here we don't have any value corresponding to 124 degrees centigrade, but we have something 125 and 120. So we can interpolate in between. And what is the state of state 1? That is the saturated vapor. So here we see that for 125 the value is 0.77012 meter cube per kg, and for 120 it is 0.89133 meter cube per kg. So for 124 degrees centigrade it has to be interpolated in between these two. So we'll do linear interpolation, and what we can find is the vapor saturation vapor specific volume, which is at 124 degrees centigrade. Okay, so V2 is, by interpolation we can get 0.7927 meter cube per kg. Now the first volume, state 1, V1 will be equal to V2. So that means this will be 0.7927 meter cube per kg again, and the temperature is also given. That's 250 degrees centigrade. Now from the diagram we have seen that it has to be superheated vapor state. So let's go to the superheated vapor table corresponding to 250 degree centigrade and 0.79645 meter cube per kg. Actually we are trying to get 0.7927 meter cube per kg, but as we don't have it, we'll see whether we have it or not. So let's go to the superheated vapor table. Okay, let's see whether this is the superheated vapor table. Yes, it is. This is superheated vapor table. Okay, and we have to find the 250 degree centigrade. Here we have 250 degree centigrade, but the specific volume have to be close to 0.7927. Okay, so let's look at here 250 degree centigrade, specific volume is way above, here also way above. Okay, for 0.505 MPa. So let's look at here. Yeah, so here if we look at the specific volume is close to what we have, 0.79. First two decimal points we are close. So for a higher accuracy we can even interpolate, but for engineering purpose this is okay, that 250 degree centigrade and 300 kPa or 0.3 MPa, we have a specific volume which is very close to what we have for state 2. Okay, so let's take this, take that this is the state 1. Okay, where the pressure is 300 kPa. So if we go back, yeah, so from superheated water table, what we found that for 250 degree centigrade we have a specific volume 0.79645, which is very close to what we have for V1. Okay, this is 0.7927. So for further accuracy we can interpolate in between and find the exact pressure, but for any engineering purpose 300 kPa or 301 kPa does not make much difference. So we can take the pressure at the first state is 300 kPa. Okay, so that's the answer for the third problem. Okay, so here we don't have any more time to go to another problem, but what we can summarize that in this particular tutorial we have done we have covered the partially covered the portion of pure substance properties, and we have looked at the water table and R134A table, and we have looked at the temperature table, pressure table, as well as the superheated vapor tables, and how to interpolate if we don't have a value there, and how to find out the values corresponding to some temperature and pressure data is given, or some temperature and specific volume data is given, how to find out the other properties, how to find out the internal energies. Okay, how you can how do you know that it's a two-phase region when you have the value either for specific volume or internal energy in between the complete fluid and complete vapor region. There we can see that it is a two-phase region, and how to draw these in a process diagram or a saturated I mean with respect to the saturation dome for a particular material. So all these things we have learned, and I do hope that you could follow how to read tables and get numbers. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, Now we will look at the fourth problem for this tutorial. What is the problem statement? A rigid tank initially contains saturated liquid water at 200 degrees centigrade at equilibrium with saturated water vapor. So in the right hand side, you can look at, let me zoom a little bit. Yeah. In the right hand side, you can look at the physical situation. This is a rigid tank where you have water. Top portion is taken by the vapor and the bottom is by liquid, and that bottom portion is said that it's 1/4. Okay, so the liquid water occupies 25%, that means 1/4 of the total volume, and the total mass of water and the vapor in the tank is 1.4 kg. So the total mass of water as well as vapor is 1.4 kg. Now heat is supplied to water. Okay, here we have shown it through this Q and this arrow that heat is supplied to this container until the tank contains saturated vapor only. Okay, so as heat is supplied, this water will vaporize and ultimately the whole tank will be containing the saturated vapor. Okay, so that's the point where we stop adding heat. So in this process, what we need to determine is first the volume of the tank, and then the final temperature and pressure. Okay, and the third is the internal energy change of the water. So as you supply heat, the internal energy will increase for the water, and what would be the final value? What is the change in this process? So to solve this problem, what do we require? First is the basic principle of mass and volume conservation. So this is a rigid tank, so volume will be conserved as well as mass. Mass will not be able to escape or come in. Okay. Then the second part that you require is the two-phase mixture is nothing but part of saturated liquid and part saturated vapor. That's the concept that you have to use. Two-phase mixture. So the initial condition also is part liquid, part vapor, right? So this is the initial phase is a two-phase mixture. So that you have to recognize. Okay. So let's first solve for the, whatever condition is given, this total mass of water will be mass of fluid and mass of gas or vapor, right? And this mass of fluid will be the volume of fluid divided by the specific volume of fluid, right? The small Vf in the denominator, that's the specific volume of fluid, and in the numerator, that's the volume of the fluid or volume of liquid water. Why this capital V into 1/4? Because capital V is the total volume of the tank or the container, and 1/4 of it is occupied by the fluid. So V into 1/4 divided by small Vf, which is the specific volume of fluid. That term will give you the mass of fluid. Similarly, the mass of vapor, that will be given by the rest of the volume, that's capital V into 3/4 divided by specific volume of gas, small v subscript g. Okay, so this equation you agree with? Okay, so let's see how we can utilize this, whatever information is given, how we can use that. Okay, so here in the next step, what you can take this capital V over 4 out, and you can write mass equal to capital V over 4 multiplied by 1 over Vf plus 3 over Vg. Okay, now we need to, so what is given in this equation? In this equation, mass is given, that's 1.4 kg. Capital V is also given, right? The total, no, not given, but that you have to find out. Okay, so to find that capital V out, you need to know this small vf and small vg, right? So from where will you get this? You will get it from saturated water table, because this is a two-phase mixture. The temperature is given, it's 200 degrees centigrade. Okay, so what you need to find, vf and vg corresponding to T saturation equal to 200 degrees centigrade. Okay, fine. So let's go and find out what are those values. So this is the table, saturated water table, and the temperature one we will require. So this is, you can see, this is saturated water table, the temperature table, and the value that we will require is corresponding to 200 degrees centigrade. Okay, so if you look at this first column, 200 degree. Okay, the last one, the last entry of this page is 200 degrees centigrade, and we require vf and vg. So let me see which one are vf and vg. So this third and fourth, these two columns are vf and vg values. So corresponding to 200 degrees centigrade, vf is 0.001157 and vg is 0.12721. Both of them are in meter cube per kg. Okay, so these values we obtained. Let's go back to the problem and use these values. So what we got, this vf and vg corresponding to T saturation 200 degrees centigrade. Vf is 0.001157 meter cube per kg. Vg is 0.12721 meter cube per kg. Okay, so if we substitute these values along with the mass of 1.4 kg which is given, we get this equation. Okay, and after doing this algebra, what you can get is the volume of the container will be 6.31 into 10 to the power minus 3 meter cube. Okay, so that's the first answer that we are looking for. Okay, now let us look at what would be the mass of fluid. So mf now we can find, because capital V we know and small vf we know. So if you substitute these values, you will get that the mass of fluid at the initial condition, that's 1.363 kg. So only a very small portion out of 1.4 kg we have vapor, but that occupies 3/4 of the volume. But fluid is mass wise, it is the maximum 1.363 kg, and it occupies 1/4 of it. And if you deduct this mass from the total mass, m minus mf, you will get 0.037 kg, which is the mass of vapor in the initial condition. Okay, now it is also asked that we need to find the change in internal energy. So to find the change, we first need to find what is the initial internal energy. So U initial, that will be the UF, or internal energy for saturated fluid, multiplied by mass of fluid. Okay, plus UG, that's internal energy for saturated vapor, multiplied by the mass of vapor. Okay, so now we need to know UF and UG from the water table. So let's go back to the same row that gave us the specific volume values. Okay, so this is the same table. We are coming back again, saturated water temperature table, and we need to find the one corresponding to 200 degrees centigrade. That's the saturation temperature. Now we need to find UF and UG. So which columns we need to see? Let's see. Here it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Fifth column is UF and seventh column is UG. Okay, so let's go down here. Fifth column gives us 850.46 kilojoule per kg, and Seventh column gives us 2594.2 kilojoule per kg. So we look these values up and go back to our problem. Okay, so here you go. So let's zoom again. Yeah, so look at this right hand side here near my cursor. So here you see that now we have looked up UF and UG, which is 850.46 kilojoule per kg and 2594.2 kilojoule per kg. So these two values we looked up from the table. MF and MG we just found out, so we can find out what is the initial internal energy of the two-phase mixture of vapor and liquid. That's 1255.16 kilojoule. Okay, so that per kg goes off because now we have multiplied it with mass. Okay, so the next step, so initial condition we now completely know. The next step would be to know what is the state 2. So now heat is added and final state 2 is reached. As this is rigid tank, constant volume, mass is also constant. So basically we are following a constant specific volume process. Okay, what it means is that specific volume will not change in state 2 either. Okay, so state 2, and it is also given that state 2 is saturated vapor. So what we can write, Vg2. Okay, that means the saturated vapor specific volume at state 2 will be the same, right? That's capital M by capital V by M. Both of them we know now. So we know what is the specific volume of vapor. That's 4.507 into 10 to the power minus 3 meter cube per kg. Okay, so now from saturated water table, what we can see is look for the closest value of specific volume for saturated vapor, because now we are going in the opposite direction. Usually what we are given the temperature or pressure, and it is easy to find out what is the corresponding specific volume. But now we are given the specific volume. Now we have to somehow find out what is the temperature or pressure for that state. Okay, so this is little bit complicated, other than compared to the other cases that we have looked at. But now let's look at how we can find out this 4.5 into 10 to the minus 3 meter cube per kg in the saturated vapor table. Okay, so let's go back to the vapor table first. Yeah, so this is again the, so let's look at what we have to look at, the VG column. So this is the VG column, and let's see here we start at 206 meter cube per kg. We need to go 0.045. Okay, that's where we need to go. So as you see, as you go up in temperature, here you are going down in specific volume, but still you are very high. Here it is for 75 degrees centigrade, it's 4.12. We need to go 0.045. Okay, so go down further. Here at the end of this page, it's 0.12. So we need to go even higher temperature. So for that, we need to continue with this table. Okay, here you see the temperature is again increasing and the specific volume of vapor is decreasing. So if you go up in temperature, specific volume, here it is 0.045, but we need to go 0.045. Okay, so if you go down, so here we see that it is close, 0.0049. Okay, we are close but not exactly at the same point, and the corresponding temperature is 370 degree centigrade. Okay, so that's the closest value we can get. We can here between these two values we can even interpolate and get a closer number between 370 and 373 degrees centigrade, or we can be satisfied with this close value itself. Okay, so here we see that at 370 degrees centigrade we get Vg to be 0.004953. Okay, and we can say that this is a close value for the given or the specific volume that we are targeting, and the final temperature is T2 370 degrees centigrade. Okay, and we need to find the final internal energy as well. So that's U final will be Ug final. That means the saturated vapor internal energy multiplied by the mass, and this Ug final from the same table you can look up. I am not going back and looking up, but now you have understood the procedure, so you can look up this Ug, which is 2230.1 kilojoule per kg multiplied by the mass. So the value is 3122 kilojoule. That's the U final. So the change in internal energy is U final minus U initial, and 3122 kilojoule minus 1255.16 kilojoule, and the final value you get is 1866.84 kilojoule. That's the third answer we were after, the internal energy change. Okay, so in this chapter we have looked closely with how the different values you have to find out from this water table, your refrigerant table, for finding out the properties and details of a particular state of a pure substance. Okay, thank you.